Good afternoon and welcome to the Infinity Salon at Camelot Castle. And we have been having a fabulous afternoon. My wife, Irina, is joining us today. Darling, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, we do have some important news. The most important news is that tomorrow evening, at the slightly earlier time of 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, I would ask each and every one of you to tune in for a very, very important broadcast. Now, so important that you do that. So that's tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Please also share this broadcast, and please also subscribe to our Telegram channel. And it is so important. Now, as many of you will have noticed, there were a number of protests in London, and in fact all over the world yesterday. People were protesting this absolute idiocy of lockdown that has been going on, and that of course has been harming and killing far more people than it has been helping. And the sooner our government here reverses its idiotic decision to shut down this country and to destroy the economy, the better. But I have to say that yesterday we saw the biggest shift in momentum for the freedom movement. The freedom movement had an almighty shift. Now, what I thought we would do, because we've had a number of things going on in our life that have been improving, and when you see a dramatic improvement, there is in fact a formula that you can apply to life and to any area that you want to, that will allow you to keep that improvement going. And in fact, if you apply this formula correctly, when you get a sharp increase, or what we call an affluence condition, a condition of affluence, which is life is doing this, and then all of a sudden it does this. Life is doing this, and then all of a sudden it does this. It starts shooting up to the moon. Now, if ever you are in life and you see things start to improve that dramatically, the formula that you need to apply, we call that an affluence. You see, it goes up like that, almost in a straight line. This is called an affluence. And the thing to do is to apply something called the affluence formula. Now, Irina and I were just discussing a particular affluence, and it's an affluence that we're going to get into a little bit more with you tomorrow evening. But we realized that actually yesterday in the world, the entire freedom movement went into affluence. And so what I would do, as many of you know, I've been a Scientologist for 30 years, and one of the reasons that we've been able to create a few affluences is because of this book. Now, if you want to get all the background and read all the nitty-gritty, then you will find it in this book. It's called The Ethics Book, and this is a very, very useful thing to know. And in the Ethics Book, you will find these various different, they're called conditions or states of existence. And there's all sorts of conditions in here. There's a condition for danger, which we're not going to talk about today. There's a condition of normal, which is when things are just pootling along. What do you do when things are just pootling along in an ordinary direction? Now, I should say here, it's very, very important to state the source of this. This book was written by L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology, and he wrote something here called the affluence formula. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take the time this afternoon, because I'm sure many of you out here are part of that freedom movement. And what I would love you to do is to share this video, In fact, before I start, if you don't mind, I'm just going to write a little note to a couple of groups that I'm part of, in order to get them to share this formula. So if you don't mind, we're going to just do this. Very, very useful information I'm about to give out, and I'm just trying to get into that now. If you don't mind, just 1 second. And very, very important, live now at Camelot TV, Facebook. Okie dokie. Well, there we go. I've just done that, and I've shared that. Now, you see, that's what I like to do, is if I'm going to share some really, really good news, I like to make sure that as many people know about this as possible. So if I could ask you, this is being broadcast on Twitter, this is being broadcast on Facebook, because I'm not banned anymore. I've learned what they don't like.
Let's see how long that lasts.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Hopefully.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Hopefully.
So now this is for in life, and I'm specifically giving this to you so you can share this information. You can share this information with any freedom fighters that you know. Anybody that was marching yesterday, anybody that was protesting yesterday, protesting against lockdown, anyone that is part of the freedom movement. And it comes from this book here, and it's this little chapter here. You can see I've got it all tabbed. The Condition of Affluence. And you can actually find this on the internet. It's very easy, and you can read all about it for yourself. We'll put up some links for you. So, here's what it says. The condition of affluence. When you have a line going steeply up on a graph, that's affluence. Whether it's up steeply for 1 week or up steeply from its last point, week after week, it's affluence. When you've got an affluence, regardless of how you did it, the affluence formula applies. You must apply the affluence formula, or you will be in trouble. Anyone dealing with affluence should be aware of the following peculiarities about it. Affluence is the most touchy condition there is. Misname it or handle it off formula, and it can kill you. It is, strangely enough, the most dangerous of all conditions, in that if you don't spot it and apply the formula, you spatter all over the street. Spot and handle it right, and it's a rocket ride. Well, I don't mind the odd rocket ride, so I decided when I first bought this book in 1990 that I would study the affluence formula very, very well. And it's a jolly good thing to do. So let's read the affluence formula. Step 1. Step 1 is economize. And this is when you have a big, big win. Things are going better and better and better. Here's the affluence formula. And I'm just going to click on here. Christine Rust, very, very kindly. There's the link. If any of you want to order the ethics book, you can order this book very easily. You just click on those links. There's a link for Europe and there's a link for America. I know a lot of friends are watching this from America. What does it say? It says economize. Now the first thing you must do in affluence is economize, and make very, very sure you don't buy anything that has any future commitments to it. Don't buy anything with any future commitments. Don't hire anybody with any future commitments. Nothing. That is all part of the economy. Clamp it down. 2.
So basically what it means, if you suddenly get a lot of money, don't go and spend it all on shopping or partying or, the last thing you want to do is spend it when you get it.
Don't go up to Harrods and buy a lot of shoes.
No,
we don't do that. What we do is we clamp it down, we economize. So the minute you have a big win, you economize.
But I think many people fail at the first step. And many people, and when you start looking at this formula and taking people through it, and we all made the same mistake. The minute we get an affluence, we just spend it. It's just an urge. Oh my God, I'm going to buy this and this and this and this and this. And right there,
you get into a muddle. So number 2, pay every bill. Get every bill that you can possibly scrape up from any place, every penny you owe, anywhere under the sun, moon, and stars, and pay them. Pull everything down in all directions until you've got it down to as close to zero as you can get, or at zero. 3, invest the remainder in service facilities. Make it more possible to deliver.
It's important to talk about it.
Yeah. So you have to work out how do you make it more possible to deliver.
That's where Hannah says, that's where I go wrong. Yes, I used to do that all the time. That's where many of us go wrong.
That's why this
on the
book
first step.
is so useful. You have a win, and what do? You go on and spend.
Yes.
So 4, discover what
Well, that's
caused.
number 3 is very important. Is you put the money into
making it more possible to deliver, to invest in service facilities.
After you've paid all your bills that you can pay, you invest into what caused the affluence.
So, for instance, let's say we here at Camelot Castle went into an
up?
affluence. Let's say we went into an affluence in relation to treacle tarts.
Is it better, the volume?
I just want to check we're on the right microphone. We could be on the wrong microphone. Hang on. No, we're on the right microphone.
How's the volume?
That's good. You see? Let's say we were to get into an affluence on crumpet or treacle tarts. And let's say we started selling a tremendous number of crumpets. And the demand for Camelot Castle crumpet was through the roof. You could understand where it would be. The crumpet here is delicious, and we look forward to serving you crumpet. But what we would do on step 3 is if we'd had a sudden surge in crumpet delivery, then what we would do is we would invest the remainder in service facilities. We might get our own crumpet manufacturer here.
Yes.
Or we might make it more possible to deliver the crumpets.
Well, for example, let's say they needed a new mixer in the kitchen or a new oven or something like that. So it would be correct investment.
It would be.
It would not be correct to take the money and spend it on, whatever, not related to that.
And then number 4, and I think this is probably the most important part of the formula in many ways. All the steps are important, but this is really crucial. Discover what caused the condition of affluence and strengthen it. Discover what caused the condition of affluence and strengthen it. So now that action affluence formula applies in a situation, let's say in business, where money's involved, and so on and so forth. But what it does not apply to is a situation where actions are involved. And very often with a political campaign, such as the anti-lockdown campaign or the freedom campaign, you see there's no money involved. People going up there and protesting or communicating or trying to let Boris know that, he's not doing the right thing. What they need to apply there is something called the action affluence formula.
So someone was asking here on the other channel on Camelot TV, how is it affluence? People, the governments in Europe is not giving in at all. There's police, there's violence with the police against peaceful protesters. Where do you see the affluence in the first place with the freedom movement?
Well, you've just got to see the numbers of people in the streets in this country. There has not been such a vocal, and also the tone of the average person in this country has come up from apathy through grief. People are getting angry, and this is a very, very, very good improvement. Most people have been so compliant and so hypnotized here and so unawake. And what each and every one of you has been doing is you've all been communicating, because I see every single time you forward one of our tweets. And by the way, do share this broadcast, because this could be the difference between somebody living or dying. This could be the difference between a child not self-harming and committing suicide or committing suicide. This could literally save a child's life. So this part of the formula is the formula that I'm talking about we as the global freedom movement that sees the idiocy of what's going on and is trying to do something about it. This is the formula that we need to apply.
Yeah.
And this is the action affluence formula. So what it says is, when an affluence exists based on a statistic measuring one's actions and disrelated to finance, this is the formula to apply. Number 1, economize on needless or dispersed actions that did not contribute to the present condition. Economize financially by knocking off all waste. 2, make every action count and don't engage in any useless actions. Every new action to contribute and be of the same kind as did contribute. I'll read that to you again. Number 2, make every action count and don't engage in any useless actions. Every new action to contribute and be of the same kind as did contribute.
Let's give examples.
Let's give examples of that. Lindsay Richards. We've got Lindsay Richards here.
Yes, she's very good at affluences, Lindsay Richards.
Very good. She manages affluences beautifully.
She manages affluences, and she does not waste time on... She's such a productive person.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the most productive people that I know, Lindsay Richards.
Well, what I'd like to actually do is arm Lindsay Richards with this affluence formula. And in fact,
Tomorrow we'll go over it. She's coming here.
I might actually present a copy of this book to Lindsay Richards because she would find it very, very good. Also, she has a very, very natural sense of ethics.
Very ethical.
Very, very ethical.
She's a very social personality. We call a social personality.
Very high tone. And what's interesting, when you give this book to a social personality, my God, it's very, very exciting. So, make every action count and don't engage in any useless actions. Every new action to contribute and be of the same kind as did contribute. Okay, so let's say you discovered that you were selling a hell of a lot more crumpet at Camelot Castle because what you decided to do was promote crumpet on your YouTube TV channel.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that promotion, people started turning up at Camelot Castle and demanding their fair share of crumpet. You see, what would that do? Well, you would analyze that. If you saw the statistics of crumpet going through the roof like this, you would say, well, I wonder what caused that. And so you would make every action count and don't engage in any useless actions, every new action to contribute and be of the same kind as did contribute.
So like you don't want to start some brand new activity that you never tried. You don't go suddenly and start doing something completely disrelated. You do want to really take similar actions.
You see, there you go. Exactly. Now, number 3, consolidate all gains. Any place we've gotten a gain, we keep it. Don't let things relax or go downhill or roller coaster. Any advantage we gain, we have. Any advantage or gain we have, keep it, maintain it. Have you noticed so many times you'll get a little surge in life and then it will just dwindle away? Especially this is true of political campaigns. So when you get the slight advantage, press the advantage home.
So Tom Rafe says he needs to look up the definition of affluence. That's a good idea, but if you really want to understand it, you just buy that book that Christine Rust put. It's in the comments. You buy that book and it will tell you exactly what it is and how to manage it. But thank you so much for listening to us. So carry on. We don't want it dwindling away, do we?
No.
The affluence.
So I'm going to read you that again. Number 3, consolidate all gains. Any place we've gotten a gain, we keep it. Don't let things relax or go downhill or roller coaster. Any advantage or gain we have, keep it, maintain it. 4, discover for yourself what caused the condition of affluence in your immediate area and strengthen it. Discover for yourself what caused the condition of affluence in your immediate area and strengthen it. Now, it's very interesting. It says discover for yourself. Does that mean that you go around asking other people what worked? Or does it mean that you keep your own counsel and you look yourself and discover for yourself what caused the condition of affluence?
Interesting.
So many times you'll have a success and you'll go along and you'll be at family Sunday lunch and your mother or your father or somebody goes, you know what worked the other day?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The reason you were successful there is because of that tie you wore to work or something. And of course, the success that you had nothing at all to do with the tie. It wouldn't have mattered what tie you wore. That still was not going to result in the dramatic increase in crumpet sales or whatever it is that you particularly are engaged in.
That's a very good point. Think for yourself and do not let other people evaluate you and tell you why you're successful or why you're unsuccessful, what's wrong with you, what's right with you. You have to really think for yourself.
See, what Irina and I do is we just sat down and Irina said, things have actually gone very, very well. And in fact, tomorrow night, we're going to share with you something that has gone very, very well. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Don't miss it, because I think it's going to be something you're really going to appreciate, because all of you have been part of it in some way.
You would love it.
You're going to really, really enjoy this. 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. But my point is, we sat down and we went over this, and I said, one of the things that's really been working for us as a family has actually been sharing our knowledge. So we went through this, and so I said, what we're going to do? We're actually going to do a broadcast, and we're going to share this affluence formula. Because more than any other formula, if you get the affluence formula right, because we all have affluences from time to time, you can't help it. You keep working, you keep working, you keep working, you'll end up in an affluence one day. But it's what do you do when that affluence occurs, which is the difference between keeping that affluence and ending up at the next level, which of course you're going to like the next condition up, power. You go from affluence into power. And you can read all about that when you read the ethics book. And in fact, Hubbard discovered that there is actually a power formula for maintaining power. It's absolutely fascinating. And I can promise you this. There is not one politician in power on this planet right now that understands the power formula. I can absolutely assure you of that. So the condition of affluence, it's a very, very useful thing. And I think one of the things that we have to recognize is that the whole of England, spiritually, yesterday, went into affluence. Are they going to stay in affluence? And is that affluence condition going to be maintained? Well, it will be maintained, and they will stay in affluence to the degree that the action affluence formula is applied. So important.
No, Lindsay, Marketplace is part of our affluence.
Yes.
That's how we make it. So per John's formula, we have to keep it. So we have to do more Marketplace. Lindsay will understand what I'm talking about.
Lindsay and, of course, Irina are very good friends, and they have actually we're doing a restoration here at Camelot.
We've been working together.
We have found some fantastic bargains on Facebook Marketplace.
Has anyone tried Facebook Marketplace? Lindsay Richards is the queen of the Marketplace. She got us all into it. All we've been doing is collecting Marketplace deliveries. And that caused affluence.
It actually did cause an affluence, because we were decorating some luxury apartments here, which are going to be open to our lovely customers. And as opposed to spending 10 grand on furniture, we've probably gotten away with spending
less, far less. So it saved us money, so we can invest more into where it's needed more. Where there are some things you can't save money on, and there are things you can.
I have to confess, I have even taken a look at the Marketplace.
Have you? Really?
I have, and I have found a couple of little treats for myself on there that I would have had to have bought for far more money had I gone to the usual retailers.
It's a good thing of bringing community together.
Nobody can tell you. You see, and this is what it is. Nobody can tell you what created your affluence. You do know. You know what created your affluence. Now, here's how Irina and I use this formula. Once a week, we get together and we get out this ethics book. That's why this bloody pages are falling out of this book. It's been used, it's been thumbed through so many times, the damn pages are falling out. We need to order a new copy.
We have other copies.
We do have other copies. We've got about 10 copies of this book here, by the way.
Everyone likes to use it.
Everybody likes to use it, so I bought about 10 copies. All our staff love to use these formulas because you know what? Actually, fundamentally, most people, unless they're completely bonkers and happen to be Prime Minister, like winning.
Yes.
You see, most people like winning. I prefer to win than to lose, And because I prefer to win than to lose, I use this book. And by the way, just so you know, in case any of you are out there saying, well, John's just trying to turn you into a Scientologist, I honestly don't give a damn whether you become a Scientologist or not. And you don't have to be a Scientologist in order to read this book and apply these formulas and make them work. I really don't care what religion you are. I'm a Christian Scientologist for the record, but I also have a penchant for a bit of Judaism. I also have a penchant for a bit of Islam. And I do consider myself slightly Muslim, slightly Jewish, slightly Zoroastrian, considerably Christian, and considerably Scientologist. So it's really up to you what you call yourself spiritually. I really don't mind. We're friends anyway, and Camelot welcomes everybody. But these formulas are just too good not to tell you about them. And part of our successful action is helping people in our general, what you could call sphere of influence. You could say sphere of influence. Is that a saying? I think it is. Our sphere of influence, if the better you're doing, like the more shopping Lindsay Edward does,
Lindsay Richards.
as far as Lindsay Richards, I'm terribly sorry, the more shopping that Lindsay Richards does, the better. The better. And so I want Lindsay Richards to do 3 times the shopping
on Marketplace.
I want us to be doing 3 times the developments as far as buildings are concerned, and so on and so forth, and build up a big construction team to compete with some of these other.
We already have the best people.
We already have the best people, and we've already got the good team. So this is what we're trying to show. And what I'm trying to show to you is that Scientology is not something you read about in a book and you philosophize about. What you do is you take a piece of paper, pen and paper, you do this formula, and you write notes of all the different actions that you're then going to take as a result of doing this formula. And what happens is because those actions are aligned to workable common sense and the correct sequence of things, you end up saving yourself decades. Literally decades. People say we'll save yourself hours. No, you won't. You will save yourself decades with this book.
But also yourself, your own welfare and your family's well-being, because as we discovered, most people, it's unfortunately natural for human beings to violate affluence on step 1, meaning the minute, let's say, you come into some money. You get money from wherever you sell the house.
Granny might send you 20 quid.
Yes, exactly. What do?
My mother might send me a check. Mummy, if you're watching, get the checkbook out. Come on,
And then you will be a very good boy, and you will not spend it. You will economize.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Because
very important. Very, very important. So this is the thing, this is what we use.
Look, that's what Lindsay says. The tone scale and the conflict third party. I defy anyone to say it doesn't apply to them. Yes, we'll see. Lindsay Richards is not a Scientologist.
Mandy Best.
But she looked at the tone scale and she looked at the third party law and she found it very, very useful.
That's right. Mandy Best, this is the book that we're discussing, the Scientology Ethics book. You can buy it. There's a link we put previously in the program.
I'll put a link now. Christine Rust.
There you go, Christine Rust.
Mandy, that's the book. If you follow this link, you can buy it. And that is an incredible book.
Now, here's what I would like each and every one of you to do that would help us with our affluence formula. And I can promise you this, it will help you with your affluence formula. Get hold of this video clip on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Go to my Twitter account and retweet this and link in people who you think would benefit from this. Get this information to people, and particularly, please share this in all the freedom fighting groups. That's what we wanted to say to you tonight. Tomorrow night, we have an amazing broadcast at 7 o'clock.
Big news.
Big news. You will not want to miss it. And Monty, in particular, is going to be delighted. Monty is settling in very, very well indeed. He got slightly covered in paint earlier today, but he's all washed off and he's all clean. I know some of you were worried about that.
No, he's good. All green paint came off, Monty. I had to wash him. He's a good boy.
Marvellous. Okay, well, it's been lovely seeing you, and we will speak to you soon. And I will say goodbye for now.
Good night. Goodbye. Have a good Sunday night. Bye.